Hello and welcome. Today, we are going to tackle one of the most important building blocks of the English language, the present simple. Seriously, this is the tense you'll use to talk about your daily life, your habits, and the world around you. Getting this right is a huge step towards speaking with confidence. So let's dive right in.
So here's our game plan. We're going to start with the absolute basics, what the present simple even is. Then we'll build on that piece by piece, looking at positive statements, then negative ones, and finally how to ask questions. And to wrap it all up, we'll put your new skills to the test. Let's get going.
All right, first things first. What exactly is the present simple? Before we can start building cool sentences, we have to understand when to use this tense. This is the foundation for everything else we're going to do today. Okay, so here's the main idea, and it's a little surprising. The present simple isn't usually for what's happening right this second. Instead, it's for things that are generally true or happen all the time. Think of it in two ways, habits and facts. A habit is something like, I work in an office. A fact is something like, it rains a lot here. It's the tense we use for the steady, consistent parts of our lives. Okay, foundation is set. Now let's place our very first building block, making simple, positive statements. This is where we start actually putting the words together and seeing the rules in action. Now, here's the most important thing to get your head around. There isn't just one rule for every situation. The verb, the action word, it actually changes, and it all depends on who is doing the action. So we've got two main patterns to look at. First up, we've got Rule A, and this one is super easy. If your subject is I, you, we, or they, you do, well, absolutely nothing to the verb. You just use its basic form. I work, you study, we live, they like. See? It's simple, clean, and you can't really go wrong.
And here it is. This is the big one. Rule B, the S rule. If you're talking about he, she, or it, you have to add an S to the verb. It's not he watch, it's he watches. It's not she play, it's she plays. This tiny little letter is a huge deal, and getting it right will make your English sound so much more natural.
Awesome! We've got the yes sentences down. Now, how do we say no? It's time for our next building block, negative sentences. We're basically just going to flip those positive statements we just learned. To make something negative, we need a little helper word. For I, you, we, and they, our helper is don't. For he, she, and it, our helper is doesn't. And this little word just slides in right before the main verb. So they work becomes they don't work. Easy, right? Okay, listen up, because this is probably the most common mistake people make, and you are going to learn to avoid it right now. When you use that helper word doesn't, it already has the S job covered. That means the S on the main verb, it just goes away. It vanishes. And look, this shows it perfectly. You would never say, he doesn't likes coffee. Never. The helper doesn't does all the heavy lifting, so the main verb can just relax and go back to its simple form. He doesn't like coffee. Once you get this down, you've jumped over a major hurdle in English grammar. Okay, you can make positive statements, you can make negative statements. Let's move on to the next skill, asking questions. And you know what the best part is? We get to use those same helper words we just met, do and does. Building a simple yes or no question is like following a recipe with just 3 ingredients. Step 1, start with do or does. Step 2, add your subject, who you're talking about. And step 3, add this simple, basic verb. That's it. Let's see how that recipe tastes. So let's try it out. Following the formula, do you like tea? Or does he drive a car? And notice the short answers. We just use that same helper word again. Yes, I do. No, he doesn't. It's super efficient, and it's exactly how native speakers talk. But what if yes or no isn't enough? What if you want real information? Well, you're not going to believe how easy this is. You just take that 3-step question we just made, and you add one little word to the very front. Look at this. The basic question, do you live, is still there. We just pop where on the front. The question, does she eat, is our foundation. We just add what at the beginning. You already know how to build the engine of the question. This is just picking the paint color. It really is that simple. Okay, we have gone through all the rules. We've looked at all the different building blocks. There's only one thing left to do now. It's time to take this new grammar machine out for a test drive. Let's get some practice in. Okay, first one. She read or reads 3 books a month. The subject is she. So what was that big rule we talked about? That's right, it needs the S. The answer is reads. She reads 3 books a month. Nice. All right, next up, a negative one. He, blank, drive a big car. So the subject is he. Are we going to use don't or doesn't? The correct answer is doesn't. He doesn't drive a big car. You got it. Last one. This is a two-parter. Blank, your friends, work in the city. Now remember, your friends is just another way of saying they. So what do we start the question with? We start with do. Do your friends work in the city? And the answer? Yes, they do. Perfect. So, let's do a super fast recap of everything. Remember, use the present simple for habits and facts. Don't forget that all-important S on verbs for he, she, and it. For negatives, use don't or doesn't, and remember, when you use doesn't, the S on the main verb disappears. And finally, always start your simple questions with do or does. And now, to finish up, a question for you. Think about your own day. Using the present simple, what is one thing that you do every single morning? If you can answer that, even just in your head, then you are already using what you learned today. Thanks so much for hanging out and keep practicing.